and make disciples of all nations. In the book of Mark, we see this put into action. In the 2nd chapter, we read of 4 men who brought their crippled friend to see Jesus. When they found Jesus, he was in a house so full that they couldn't get in. So they tore the roof off and lowered their friend to him on a mat. Immediately, Jesus healed that man and forgave him of his sins. Before the Great Commission had even been given, these 4 men were giving it life. They were taking the good news everywhere. To them, everywhere meant anywhere, even to a stranger's house uninvited. Anytime, even when the house was too full. Anything, even if it meant tearing the roof off. These men were serious about getting their friend in front of Jesus. They show us what it takes to get someone to Jesus. The first man represents the message, and the message is the Messiah, Jesus. Those men could have torn the roof off of every house in the town, but their friend still would have been a cripple. The thing that made the difference was that Jesus was in the house.
Amen.
In missionary work, there are all kinds of humanitarian projects that we can do to open the doors for foreign countries for our missionaries. Providing food and education will meet a temporal need. But souls will not be saved unless the people are introduced to Jesus.
Yes.
The second man in the story represents the means. Now, the means is so supernatural and so cool. It's like when someone seriously commits to taking the gospel everywhere, God will provide a way to make it happen. In the early 1960s, Brother Lubbock was preparing to return to Africa. He'd been praying for a 4-wheel drive vehicle that was sturdy enough to make it through the bush country of the Congo River Basin. But all he had was a commitment of $1,000 from the Speed the Light. And even in those days, that was not enough to meet his needs. What Brother Lubbock could not know was that the next day he would run into an old high school friend who now owned a Jeep dealership. The man had a year-old demo that was the ugliest color of Jeep ever made. He couldn't sell it, so he took Brother Lubbock's $1,000, and the gospel had wheels to go to the jungles of Africa. God will always provide a way when someone is willing to go. The third man represents the method and God's miracle. When we have done all we can to fulfill God's Great Commission, God will do everything else that we could never do on our own. Those 4 men did everything they could when they brought the cripple to Jesus. But it was Jesus who did so much more than that when he healed that man and forgave him of his sins.
Yes, amen.
Let's revisit Brother Lubbock's Jeep for a while. Brother Lubbock drove that ugliest Jeep of all into the jungles of Africa, accompanied by only an interpreter. They arrived in a village where no white man had ever been before. Immediately, they were surrounded by villagers. How would these people accept the gospel? Everyone came out and immediately accepted the gospel of Christ. Why were they so ready? A chief told them that for so long his people had a thirst in their hearts that nothing would satisfy. Finally, a witch doctor told them that a white man and a black man would ride into town and they would have the words of life. They would know it was the right man because they would ride in a cart that was not pulled by a donkey. And it would be the same color as a certain worm native to the Congo Basin. The chief said when they put the worm on the Jeep, there was no telling where the worm ended and the car began. That ugly Jeep. Yeah. It was a miracle that God used to open the hearts of a lost village to the gospel of Christ.
Amen.
The fourth man is our conclusion, and he is the minister. You see, in his infinite wisdom, God has chosen to use man to spread the gospel. The fourth man is you. No, don't look around you or beside you. I'm talking to you. These 3 men can't get the cripple to Jesus alone. They need the fourth man. They need you. It is possible to get so excited about taking the gospel everywhere that we never take it anywhere. Overwhelmed by the masses in the far-flung regions, we never quite get started. Anywhere is better than nowhere. Surely we can take it somewhere. If you will be the man, Jesus is the message, and he will give you the means and provide a miracle. The task cannot wait. The mission of taking the gospel everywhere to everyone begins right here and right now. Concerning the challenge of evangelizing 3 billion lost people, missionary Dwayne Jones says, we're not out of money. We're out of time. What we're running out of is one of the most valuable and irreplaceable assets of all. The mission of spreading the gospel everywhere is depending on you.